Hey guys, welcome back. So since Bruce was separated from the Hulk in where the Elders calls the Requiem Plane, we've seen this guy David, of whom we assume to be our Bruce Banner in disguise. But then, how him and Betty survived that place to be living in hiding, working 9-to-5 job and also not really caring about his Hulk persona was left for our imagination. But now we know, so let's talk about it. First, if you like content like this, then consider watching the entire video to the end, and if you liked it, a like and a subscribe will be appreciated. So Bruce got separated from the Hulk 3 months ago, and from that mess, Bruce Banner attempted to climb both of them out of that place, with Betty being on his back. What a strong man. And even though he kind of failed, I wouldn't call him weak, because it's one thing carrying your own weight, and it's another adding another one's weight on top of it. But it's all cool because Carl was there for their rescue in the nick of time. And since then, they've been living in Indiana under the radar as Mr. and Mrs. Heather and David Hamilton, working at Healthy Garden Vitamin Factory. Whether happily or frustratingly, well, we're about to find out. So the day starts with Banner making some breakfast for both of them, like always, while she comes in with the complaints like all women do with the "have you checked this and that?" And in this case, it was about the freezer doing too much good of a job in freezing stuff. So Bruce has to take a look at it and maybe turn it down a little bit. She then asks him if it's okay to wear the welcome to the team earrings Natty got her, almost as if she didn't want to wear it. But Bruce tells her that she has to, as it's like that grandma sweater situation where if you don't wear it, then they will be sad. And besides, those earrings looks good on her as well, so a bonus, as he continued to flatter her with pretty words, you know, the kind of words that girls love to hear, but you don't have the balls to say it. Yeah, you. And it was at this moment that when Bruce leans in to peg her on the cheek, he noticed that she had bandaged her arm. So she asked her, "Why is that?" To which she responded that it was just a scratch. Just a flesh wound. Okay, we'll see about that. But even then, I knew this is bullshit, and that she's hiding something whilst trying to expose something or someone, which in this case is Bruce. Do you guys remember that in the last issue, she was telling people that David, who is Bruce, has anger issues? Like, yo, I thought you guys were supposed to be laying low, but okay. But then she said it was just a scratch, so Bruce was like, okay, if you say so. And then they both left for work. Whilst they were on the road, we saw the lengths to which they were going to hide themselves, because Betty tells Bruce to beware of the upcoming traffic camera, so they used the car's mirror to cover their faces. And it was at this moment when they came up to this homeless dude with a board with some writings on it. And though this comic is trying so hard to hide some of the text on the board, the one we make out says that it's coming. Do not think that you can escape his wrath. And this feels like it's very much targeted to Bruce, especially with how he's doing his possible best to ignore the chaos King Hulk has been unleashing into the world lately. So after some moments of a stare down between Bruce and this old man, who is looking at Bruce like, I know you know I know what you're doing. Which is what led Bruce to hawk out and smash both this old man and his protesting board. Except hawking out was all in his head, which lets you know that it's not only Betty who is having issues, they both are. When they got to work, we got Natty out here showing everyone here videos of his son Tommy, who is an army soldier at Fort Campbell, performing some battle drills. And from the last issue, we know Natty's son has been there for a while, except they don't let them share their information from Fort Campbell. But it seems like in this issue, little bro got a little bit sneaky and then he shared some of his videos to his mother. But then when it looks like Natty is doing too much with the videos of his son being like the military, my son is the military, and everyone kind of being tired of her, Betty, who in disguise is Heather, approaches her saying, forget them, they are just jealous, Natty. Show me those videos of your handsome son, please. Ricky saw that, says Heather is a smart one because it's only her first month and she's already getting good with HR. But then Bruce, who is also living under the alias of David, assures Ricky that Heather is not faking it and that she naturally cares about people. Meanwhile, whilst Natty talks about her son and how she doesn't know what she'll do without him, keyword, do without him, Heather was zoned out because it's the elder Skinhawk again, up to some notorious shit. This was when Bruce noticed that she had scratched the bandage on her wrist off, causing her to bleed. With that, Bruce came up with an excuse that he needs Heather's help with something. So he took her to the bathroom and then asked her to take her home. And this reminds me a whole lot about a situation in school where if someone is sick, one colleague will offer to take that sick person to home. And one day someone was sick and the one that offered to take the sick person home took his bag and was like, he even forgot about the sick person's bag. And it's like he wanted to go home so bad to the extent that he took his bag and forgot the sick person's bag. So he will tell them that she got sick and that's why he took her home. But she tells Bruce that she's fine. And it's that this is the first time since she's seen the elders since the Requiem playing. But now the elders doesn't control her anymore, which her happy form also confirmed. And this also lets us know that both Bruce and Betty are having issues with their inner personas, be it the Hawk or Happy. But to me, it feels like Betty is trying to get them busted with all the crap she's been pulling lately. It's like she doesn't want this life. Bruce then tells her that he knows this ain't perfect, but they've got a chance at a normal life here, a house, friends, jobs where people don't get hurt. So they have to be careful so people don't know who they are. And this is crucial considering what will happen the next day. But then later on that night, when it was time for bed, Bruce tells Betty, who had earphones in, that he's going to bed as she should come to bed as well. But Betty didn't respond, making it look like she didn't hear it. And when Bruce went up to her and tapped her on the shoulders, this bitch then answered Bruce that, "I think I might stay up a bit," of which Hawk calmly says, "Okay," but internally he was like, "Bitch, so you heard me the first time?" And like we said, these lash outs for both Betty and Bruce are internal. No one is telling each other, letting it eat each other up. He then tells Betty to not stay up late because they have a field trip in the morning with the kids. But before going to bed, he got a message from an anonymous person that says, "You are a hard man to find these days, David Hamilton." Emphasis on the Hamilton. But then he ignores it and then goes to bed. He only awoke hours later into the night to find out that Betty is still not in bed. He then went into the kitchen where he found Betty in a mess of her own, saying, "I couldn't open the ice cream." And Bruce was like, Nah bro, ain't no way you did all this just because you couldn't open no damn ice cream. Nah bro. But then her problem is that she used to have wings with which she flown across oceans, over the ice caps, through live volcanoes. She flown so high that the moon was all that she could see. She hunted wolves on Mount Wondergore. But now she can't even open the ice cream, which makes her feel weak, fragile and human. So basically Bruce is forcing her to live a life she don't want. So Bruce did what he's been doing since those 3 months, which is to console her, tell her she gonna be fine, clean her up and then put her to bed like it's normal. And man, if anything, I'll tell you, Bruce is a bad man, man. After that, he got a message from that same anonymous person that says backyard. And when he got there, his first statement to whoever is standing in front of him was, "It's not a good time," because it's Tony and Reed. And I feel like I know why Bruce said that, because with every Tony statement, it feels like dude is trying to rage bait Bruce. And that's why they added Reed to make sure Tony doesn't go too far. But in my opinion, it still didn't help, because in response to Bruce saying it's not a good time, Tony responded with, "We don't have the luxury of good manners right now, Bruce." My man, like, yo. But then deep down, I feel like he knows that Bruce is detached from the Hulk, so like there will be no Hulk to put him in check. So now you see why I said Tony is just here to rage bait Bruce, but then that's why Reed is there. So Reed first asks how Betty is doing, just to be polite on both their behalf. But for Banner, it still doesn't change a thing, since in his opinion, their presence still puts them in danger, in which Tony responds, "This is your mess, Bruce. This new Hulk is taking out aircraft carriers, military bases, so yeah, you are needed." Meanwhile, Reed just wants to know how Bruce is still alive after being separated from the Hulk, because unless this is not Bruce's Hulk, then he doesn't see how this is even possible. So Bruce then took the liberty to tell them about the eldest, an essence of an old god, the child of the mother of horrors, and how he lured him into the Requiem plane and proceeded to separate him from the Hulk so he will possess the Hulk himself. He tells them that there's a huge cave system under the Nevada desert. Halfway to the center is what the eldest calls the Requiem plane. There are ancient ruins down there, fossilized old gods, weapons that might have been magical ones. Hulk's son, Scar, is down there, and he was the one that saved them, and after he saved them, he went down there again. Why? They don't know. He finally told them that if they want help, then they should go to that place. Maybe they will find something that will help their cause. This was when Tony responded that, "What are you gonna do, Bruce?" Because for him, he's seen Hulk's transformation and he had thought it was scary, but this eldest transformations is something different, like monster level shit. And this right here is where the ultimate rage baiting started, because he proceeded to say, "One of the bravest, most selfless, most brilliant scientists who ever lived transformed into a sniveling coward, so enamored with your tidy, comfortable little life that you hide behind your white picket fence while the world burns." What did the elders do to you, Bruce? Did they rip out your heart and your spine? But with all this rage baiting, Bruce didn't budge. Instead, he rather owns it, saying, "It must be confusing, Tony, seeing someone choose a normal life, a 9-to-5 job, a little house with no garage. You think I'm a coward for wanting this? Fine. I've earned a little cowardice, and I don't owe you a damn thing, only to leave and go to his lovely 9-to-5 job the next morning, only to realize that King Hulk has hit the military base where Natty's son is, and there's nothing left after the massacre, leaving my boy like, damn." But then we see that Tony didn't stop with the tests. He continued with, "I hope to God the real Hulk is still in there somewhere, Bruce. You might not have asked for this, but you did create this thing. Because you couldn't sort out the crap out with your monster, now it's everyone's monster. And if your Hulk is truly gone, then we are doomed." As we see what looks like Banner's Hulk, the fractured son, in the Hulk's cape. And so since the elders took over the Hulk's body, now we know what Bruce been up to. This dude don't care. But right now, in the next issue, we are about to find out what's up with the Hulk since King Hulk took over. Voila. So if you love content like this, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for the next one. Peace.